Hello, my friends, and welcome to Growing Your Local Business and the third and final section in our three-part training, which is about creating your marketing plan and specifically your local marketing plan, where we bring together a simple strategy that helps people in your area. So, wherever you're located, it helps them know who you are, understand what you offer, and take action to buy, book, or inquire. It brings together your audience, who you're speaking to, your message, exactly what it is that you're promoting, whether it's brand awareness, your business as a whole, or you're selling a specific product or service, and also your mediums, where and how you're sharing it online and offline. And this will be different for all businesses. So, the whole point of today is that you build your local visibility roadmap. So ignore what other people are doing unless you're getting ideas from it. But everything in this section of the training is about you. Okay? It's about what you want to create and what you want to build. So let's start first and foremost by getting excited about building your marketing plan. This gives you something tangible, something you can test and measure, something that you can come back to. And the first thing that we want to know is we want to plan ahead. And we really want to know, what does marketing success look like to you? And how will you measure the success of your marketing plan? And of course, we're going to do that in new business and sales, but we might also do that in brand awareness, more people recognizing what you offer, in action, in you taking action in a new area. There's more than one way to measure the success of an activity, and what matters is that you measure success in a way that works for you. So take a few seconds to jot down, what does success look like for you? Like, how many sales would you like to generate on a monthly basis? What does brand awareness look like for you? That people know that one of your goals might be that you walk into a networking event and people recognize you and your business. Or it might be that you commit to posting and promoting your business on a regular basis so you know what it is that you need to do more of. You start to get an idea of what's working and what's not working. But one of the key things that's going to make it so much easier for you when you're building your marketing plan is that you plan ahead and you know what key dates and special occasions do you need to be aware of. So, right now, I want you to get your pen and paper out as we look at ways when people would naturally buy what you're offering. So, we need to know these key dates in advance. I find the biggest problem with business owners is it could be the middle of December and they don't have what they're selling for Christmas ready yet. Or the week of Black Friday, they'll turn around and say, "Oh, I'm not doing a Black Friday offer. I don't want to reduce my prices. That's not what I'm all about." And really, the big issue here is that they've not planned ahead. It's got nothing to do with Black Friday. It's got nothing to do with Christmas. It's got to do with poor planning. And we're going to put a stop to that today. So, let's walk through some special events. These special events are things that you can attach your business to make it easier for you to sell things. Because people are always celebrating things, especially like big birthdays like 30th, 40th, 50th, etc. Do you have a product that you could talk about in relation to a big birthday? Do you have a service that would be perfect for someone's 40th birthday? Anniversaries, wedding anniversaries, businesses, friendships, new babies, hen do's, stag do's, retirements, graduations. Could there be life transition events like when people get married, like moving house, starting school or nursery, starting a new job or business, breakups or personal changes? I'm going to give an example here of one that I think people should do. For those of you who don't know, I am in my 40s and I am single, and all I see that personal trainers and weight loss experts and image experts, they talk about perimenopause, and I'm not discounting that as being such an important part in a woman's life, but I'm also single and I'm also on Tinder. So why would a PT not talk about having a midlife post breakup glow up alongside your perimenopause symptoms? Like little things like that. There's so many ways that you can attach what you sell to what's going on in people's lives. It doesn't mean you niche down to only serve them, but it means you can be a lot more relevant. And that would personally speak to me so much more than somebody saying, "You're getting old." Really? I know. I know. Also, when it comes to special events, is there are many religious and cultural celebrations recurring throughout the year, and they're rooted in community, tradition, and gifting. Now, I want us to all be very careful when we approach these things. We need to do so genuinely and authentically. But there are so many things. We're aware of Christmas, but what about Hanukkah, Diwali, Eid? Like all of these things that are really important to the emerging communities throughout Ireland and the UK. Easter, Lent, Ramadan, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Pride Month. There are so many ways that we can be inclusive and talk about things. And obviously, we only do it if it aligns with your brand and if we can do it respectfully and help those communities out as well. We also want to consider local special events. What's going on in your local community that would be really, really good for your business and be really, really good for your business to be a part of? Any local markets and street fairs, are there any summer markets? Are there any winter markets? All of these things that are really important. School fundraisers like raffle prizes, stalls. We all know that at the end of the year, lots of the local schools have like fair days on. Any businesses that deal with parents, that deal with children, should be at those because they could use those as brand awareness to build a relationship with potential clients. Sports days, tournaments, festival weekends, foodies festivals, seasonal events, Christmas light switch ons, Easter hunts. What is popular in your area? And from a marketing idea, we can use Catch Us At, and tag in the local event, tag in the local fair, talk about how you're proud to support these things. Okay, there are so many special events that would make it easier for you to promote your business, that would make it easier for you to market your business and generate sales. So, I want you to take a couple of minutes, press pause on the video, and make a list of all of the special occasions you can promote your business towards. Those that feel natural. Don't include anything that's not natural to you. And the key dates, both globally and locally, that you want to promote your business for. You don't need to do anything with it just yet, but I want you planning ahead because you might plan and create the ideas straight away, or your brain might need time to process. So you might need to plan and then create the ideas a little later. But crucially, you have to have them written out. Now, next, we're going to move on to a year at a view. When will your customers naturally want what you offer? Now, I'm going to use the examples, some simple examples here. Number one is a Christmas tree, right? You could have the most beautiful Christmas trees, the most beautiful Facebook posts, the most beautiful group posts, the most beautiful flyers and posters about your Christmas trees. They show them in like with all the lights on. They show them transforming someone's home. They talk about where they've been sourced. These Christmas trees are perfect. But if you're selling those Christmas trees in February, it's not going to work, right? And as business owners, we're not all as seasonal as Christmas trees, but for some of us, we are trying to sell Christmas trees in February and then getting pissed off because people don't want to buy. And then we're so exhausted by the time November comes that we forget to sell our Christmas trees. Does that sound familiar? And I don't want that for you. I want you, as far as possible, to plan in advance and to be ready to capitalize on every opportunity. And we're going to go through some opportunities just now. And you're going to jot down the opportunities that feel right for you and only the opportunities that feel right for you. So, first and foremost, January to March. This is all about new year and a fresh start, right? And for a certain period, you tend to find people that are motivated, reflective, and seeking change. Now, I know the life coaches watching this will go, but it's so fake. We should not encourage people to do this. Remember, this is about making it easy for your business and not about making it harder. So I want you to consider from a service-based business, some of the hot offers are fitness, health, and well-being. This is when people join gyms, and your job as the gym owner is to keep them there, right? It's when networking is really, really busy and lots of people look for business growth. Right, I have been running networking for 10 years now, and I tell everyone if you cannot make it to networking every month, come in January and come in August, September, because you'll see people there that you don't see for the rest of the year. Okay, new hobbies. People want to try new things and they say, fuck it, I'm going to try that new thing. Decluttering, home organization. You start to think people are going to sell their houses. And when you're looking at a marketing angle, people are already motivated. People are already reflective and single change. You need to tell them why you're the right person. You don't need to convince them that now's the right time. They don't need that in January, February, March. What you need to say is, here, buy it. You know, and we also need to consider the key dates in January to March, and we look at Valentine's Day, we look at Mother's Day, we look at, if you're an accountant, we look at submitting your tax returns. There's all of these key dates, that half term, there's all these key dates I want you considering as well that are important to your ideal client. When it comes to products, we always see that planners and journals, you can walk into TK Maxx and see planners and journals everywhere. Could you be a life coach? Could you be an expert, a fitness expert that has a planner and journal that you release in January? You know, we see fitness gear, healthy snacks, decluttering tools, everything motivational, vision board. All of these things sell really, really well in January, February, March, and you would naturally be ready to sell them. If these are the types of products that you would naturally be ready to sell them, or if you have a product that's a bit more, what's the word, a bit more broad, that appeals all year round, you would talk about how it could be used now. You know, for example, if you have a handmade cream, you would talk about why that handmade cream is perfect to be used now, because it's a great time to get your skincare sorted in January, February, March. You also might want to do the anti offer. You know, you might want to say, don't diet in January, but you can enjoy my beautiful home cooked meals, my beautiful biscuits all year round. You know, so it doesn't have to be the exact message, it could be the anti message as well. So, looking at January to March for your business specifically, are you naturally busy? Yes or no? If you're naturally busy, you need to be ready to sell. Okay, so when you're creating your message for this time, it's a sales message. Here's why you need me and buy now. Okay, if you're not naturally busy, you might need to adopt an angle, you might need to focus on brand awareness, but you will choose what's best for your business. So I want you to jot down the key dates that you want to be aware of. I want you to jot down, what is it that you're selling. If you're naturally busy in January to March, what are you selling? And if it's brand awareness, I want you to consider honing in on your message of your business as a whole. So if people aren't going to buy from you right now, we can start telling them about you for when they are ready to buy from you. Okay, so pause the video and complete this activity right now. And now we're just going to repeat the process for April to June. April to June, if you pardon the pun, because I do not like a pun, is when we spring into action. But you know this yourself. You're energized, you're social, you're planning ahead, right? The clocks have gone forward an hour. For lots of us, the Easter break has happened. For those of us who don't have children, you're planning your hen do's during the summer, you're planning your girls' weekends, you're planning your nights out, you know? Um, we look at hot offers that are family days out, any kids' activities, anything that's outdoor. People are going outdoor more, right? So you might have a harder job selling classes. So you really need to be on the ball. Self-care. People are looking to get fitter for the summer. They're looking to shake up their wardrobe. The sun is shining in now and they're starting to see that their home and garden need some improvement. You know, they're looking at business events, retreats, visibility, you know. So you might have a marketing angle that's get ready for the summer, shake off the winter, you know, enjoy the outdoor season. You know, travel bloggers do this really well, where they start to share loads of videos of them out and about, enjoying the countryside, getting out, because you don't need to be told, oh, it's spring, get outside. You can see that it's spring. You just need somebody to help you get outside more. When it comes to popular products, people are out in the garden, you know, they're changing their scent. They're not going for something deep, they're going for these fresh fragrance. You know, kids outdoors, get them outdoors. Talk about getting them off Roblox that they've been out on all winter, and how this activity will give them fresh air, vitamin D, anything to do with stress rings, fidget tools, as exam season is coming up, you know. I met somebody recently and they were buying gowns for graduation. So maybe you're talking about graduation, weddings, communions, all of those things that are coming up, barbecues. I always renew my picnic basket as it builds up to the summer, because I know I'm going to be outdoors lots, you know. And sometimes the picnic basket is something I carry and sometimes it's on my back, you know, because we're going to be spending all day at the beach. You need to talk directly to where your clients are to make it easier for you to promote your business during this time. Okay, my friend, April to June, are you naturally busy? Yes or no? What are the key dates or the key themes that you're taking advantage of and you're talking about? What are you selling? Okay, so you could take the same product. I'm going to take, for example, a coffee. So a coffee that you might sell at this time of year, you might be coming into iced coffees more. You know, you might actually just be selling coffee and co-working, whereas during winter it might be a gingerbread latte. At Halloween it'll be a pumpkin spice latte. You see, you take the same product that is a coffee, but you just talk about it slightly differently depending on the time of the year. Brand awareness. If you're not busy, your focus might be on brand awareness. Okay, and that's really important to you. July to August, in many countries, the school is out. And for lots of us, not all businesses, but we would be naive to say that our capacity is not impacted during July and August. It's either impacted because we're not able to promote our business as much because we're on holidays, we're taking time off, or our customers, even if our customers aren't parents, again, they might be on weddings, hen do's, stag do's, holidays abroad. They might be outside at all of the markets and all of the festivals, so they might not be on their phone as much, looking at what you're offering. So July and August is often slower paced, family focused, and on juggling. So there might be a cash flow implication for lots of small local businesses, and you need to be aware of that, right? But we do know that holiday clubs, kids' workshops, drop in activities, festivals, on the go, light touch business offers or marketing offers are really popular. So I want you to consider, if this is your business, how can you help them make summer simple, fun for all the family, support for working from home, like look fabulous for the festival or the wedding. You can angle your product or service again to where your client is. Popular products, iced coffees, anything that you can grab and go, sun care products, travel size, activities. Again, I cannot stress it enough. Anything about getting the kids outside, having fun, comfortable wear, like what they're wearing, like water bottles, like everything. So your products, you could take the same product, but talk about how it can be used over the summer. Talk about why it will be perfect for that summer wedding, perfect for late nights at the beach, perfect for, 5 hours at the park when your kid's going to need a drink. Talk about all of these things. So again, for your business for July and August, and again, I've made July and August just a 2 month section, is summer holidays, cash flow considerations, all of these things. What goes into your key dates? What's really important to you? And then I want you to consider, what are you selling? Okay. And if you're on holidays, you are just focusing on brand awareness. If you feel your client is on holidays, you're just focusing on brand awareness. If you need a cash injection, you have to focus on an offer and making selling really easy and making it really easy for your clients to buy right now. Okay. Then when we come into September, October, you tend to find that for most people it's back into routine. And I'm not specifically talking to people with children here. Even if you don't have children, you are getting back into a routine, right? Because I remember before I had Ulton having like 5 weddings in one summer and all of the hen do's, so I was out, on the go. And I was looking forward to wedding season being over so I could absolutely chill. But you tend to find September, October, people are focused, refreshed, and ready to reset. Business owners are starting to remember that we only have 4 months left in the business year, so they're starting to get focused. So you might look at business support, classes or courses for kids and adults, personal development, coaching, goal setting. You might look at getting the house ready for Christmas, getting that autumn reset. We're going to be spending more time indoors soon. You might start to plan your Christmas markets because they're starting up. So look at September to October and think, what am I focused on? Again, popular products, stationery, people want comfort from their food and drink, soups, chai blends, pumpkin spice. The self care is more indoors than outdoors. Candles. They want to go to like classes on cozy nights because they don't want to be outside. They might be looking at lunch boxes. Planning meal plans. All of these things from September, October. So by now you know the drill. What are the key dates for September, October? Back to school, Halloween, your Christmas planning, half term. Are there anything that's a key date in your area? What are you selling? So how could you adjust what you're selling for this time of year? And how can you adjust your brand awareness for this time of year as well? And by now, if you're running a business, for brand awareness, you should be building brand awareness in September, October for any Black Friday or Christmas offers that you're going to do. You know? So you might open your Christmas wait list. You might tell people that your Christmas events are coming up. You might make a list of all of the fairs that you're going to be at. There's loads of things that you can do in September and October to build brand awareness to make Christmas sales way, way easier. Okay, so November and December is usually for most of us a festive focus. Now, the festive focus for lots of service-based business you could be helping them end the year on a high and plan for January, but you might be looking at gift vouchers, experiences, events, all those festive markets, end of year coaching, planning, skincare, hair and beauty. Talking about celebration, treat yourselves, all of these things. Now, we all know the popular products. Could you create a gift box and vouchers? Do not create your vouchers just in fucking December, by the way. That is not okay and way too late. Create your vouchers end of October, November time. Festive drinks and breaks, your gingerbread lattes, your hot chocolates, your mince pies, your jewellery and accessories. Are they stocking fillers or are they the main event at Christmas? Your seasonal skincare products, same thing. Party makeup, personalised items, custom mugs, like lash kits, all of these things. Now, I remember when I used to get my nails done once a month, and I would go in every month to get my nails done. But in December, you start to notice it was really busy with the people that were coming in just for the festive period. Without fail, where I got my nails done would always have an offer for everyone who came in December that they would get £5 off in January, which is a perfect thing to do because you want to convert those customers in December who were just coming for a one off. You want to convert them into longer term customers by getting them back in January. And it was also a nice reward for those of us who came every month to get money off in January. So you can think about you as you get better at this, you can always think, okay, what can I do now to make the next quarter easier? And that's what we want to be thinking about for your business. Again, ask yourself the question: November, December, the key dates, Black Friday, Small Business Saturday, Christmas postage, parties. What are you selling? Are you selling a gift box? Are you selling the main jewelry? Are you selling the stocking fillers? Are you selling the reset that is an alternative to commercialism and capitalism at Christmas? And brand awareness. How will you let new people know about your business? And that's really important for the coaches, the personal trainers, anyone who will naturally be busier in January, is that you still talk about your business, but under the realm of your building brand awareness, and you're not trying to sell anything because it's maybe not the right time, maybe it is, but you're also trying to stay front and center so that they know about you. Okay, so I appreciate we've covered a lot, but I want you to create an annual heat map, and I'm going to show it to you in the next slide. I want you to look at the year ahead and note down the times when customers want what you offer, where you'll be naturally busier. The times when they won't. So maybe we need to come up with an offer, get heavily focused on brand awareness, manage your cash flow. And the special occasions you can promote towards, all of those birthdays, anniversaries, all of those religious special occasions, all of those other key dates like Mother's Day, Breastfeeding Awareness Week, like all of those things that make a huge difference. Now, here's an example of your year at a glance. I just want you to complete this. Just draw it out. You could draw it out as a line like this. You could draw it as a quadrant. You could draw it as a list, whatever works better for you. But really, I want you knowing in advance when you're busier. Because if you have a rough idea of the year ahead, you can focus on the quarter that you're in now, and then you can move on to the next. I know I've done these in fifths and not quarters, but you see why I did July and August separately. But if you have an idea of the year as a whole, you can always be focusing on where you are now and pre-planning, and that's really what makes your business easier. You don't want to, if it's in January time, you don't want to jump into November and December and get too caught up there, but you want to make sure that you're focusing on January, February, March, capitalizing that with an eye on April, May, and June as well, because that's crucially important to you. Does that make sense? So go now, pause the video, do whatever you need to do, and create your year at a glance. Okay, my friend, now let's move on to your customers. So once you have an idea of your year at a glance, I want you, and when it's a good time for you to sell, when it's not a good time for you to sell, all of these sorts of things, I want you to consider who your customers are. Okay? And we've spoke about this in the last training, but really we always want to know, who are your customers? Like, where are they located? What are their main concerns? But what do they need to know about you and your business to make it easy for them to buy? Right? And most of all of what we do is we're so busy trying to add value We're so busy trying to like change, their opinion, be better than our competitors, that we forget to tell them, hi, this is who I am, this is what I do, and I would be perfect to help you. Because we're too busy trying to tell this lifetime story. We're too busy trying to beat up our competitors that we forget the basic information. Like, I'm selling coffee at this event. Come and get the best cappuccino you've ever tasted. I'm running this baby class. It's absolutely amazing for you to make friends, build a community, and you'll get to learn the key skills to bond with your baby at this young age. We forget to say that. And that's what we have to say. But crucially, now this is so important, some customers will buy from you quite quickly after discovering you, others will need more time. And this is very much dependent on how long you're in business, what's your overall brand awareness like, um, how, how much what you're selling costs. Because something that might be relatively cheap, people might buy straight away. More expensive things that need more of a consideration, you need to do more work to build your brand awareness and to nurture those clients. So, your job is to commit to connecting with your customers. It's so crucial. Do not give up on this. Do not kind of shrug your shoulders and go, but I told them and they don't care. You didn't tell them enough. I promise you. You want to know the questions they will have about what you're selling, how it's going to benefit their life. What's it going to cost? What's the time involved? Where is you located? I want you to respect the timeline. Respect the timeline where some will buy immediately and others won't. So it's your job to stay visible. I want you to talk to one person and use real language. Do not sound like a robot or just something that ChatGPT has presented to you. Pick one customer, and when you're writing that post, write it directly to that one customer, your favorite customer, the nicest person that you've ever worked with. Write it to them and stop trying to be better than your competitors. Stop trying to be better than your competitors, because what's the point? Because then what happens is you're promoting a business to sound better than your competitors, you're muddling up your message, and really your job is to speak directly to that one person. So I want you to consider, right? If I said to you, oh, would you like to buy a coffee? You've got one question to ask: do I want a coffee or not? You know? And chances are you would buy a coffee quite quickly if you did want one, and you'd sit and enjoy one, and we'd have a lovely conversation. If I said to you, do you want to buy a new car? Okay, you would be like, okay, do I need a new car? When's my current car deal up? What's the insurance cost on it? Will it fit everything in for the kids? Will I be able to get the dog in there? What is the tax on it? Does it suit our family needs? Will it fit in our driveway? There are so many more things. So, of course, you can tell somebody about a coffee and they'll buy it quite quickly. You might tell someone about a car and they will take a bit longer to buy. And it's the same for pizza. If I said to you, oh, come and meet me for a pizza on Saturday night, you might go, oh, yeah, I'm free Saturday night. Let's go and get a pizza. But if I said to you, oh, do you want to come to a pizza making class with me? It's on every Thursday night for the next 4 weeks. You might have to think more about it. It's more of a commitment. It impacts more of your time. It's not an emotional expenditure. Like a pizza is quite emotional because it's like, oh, I'd like a treat. I'd like a pizza. Maybe you wouldn't. But like a pizza making class, it takes a bit more time. So you have to remember this when you're selling. You cannot sell things like people are always going to need them immediately. You have to sell things like there's a bit more consideration. People are busy, they're working, they're on their phone, they're looking after kids, they're trying to have a social life, they're trying to have a relationship with their partner. They are busy. It's your job to constantly talk about what you offer. It's not their job to remember. So, for your ideal client exercise, pause this right now and do this exercise. It's especially relevant to people who've been in business for a while. If you're only just starting out, just kind of just pick someone, right, and just write the post to them. If you've been in business for a while, I want you to make a list of the last 10 clients you've worked with. I want you to list them in order of how much they've spent with you since they first bought from you, so that lifetime value. So if they have bought a coffee every day for the past year, you'll write down whatever, 500 quid. If they have bought one class from you, you'll write down the £60. Scroll out any you didn't enjoy working with. So if there was any that just wasn't aligned, maybe it wasn't the right decision for them, maybe you just felt that they weren't right for you. They complained, they didn't really want to be there. Scroll them out. And what you're left with is your ideal clients. Now, one of the problems I come across with in businesses is sometimes they do so much work on who their customer is when they're starting off on business is they create this fictional ideal client that isn't their ideal client. And they get hung up on that person and they get hung up on transforming that person's life. Fundamentally, your ideal client is the person who wants what you offer and is prepared to pay for it, that you enjoy working with. Stop looking for a profound ideal client because that person doesn't exist, and you'll spend your life chasing for a better client and you'll ignore the ones that you have because you'll feel like they don't want what you offer, or not, in inverted commas, they're not good enough, but we've almost been conditioned to chase after this ideal client. Really, really, really practice gratitude when it comes to who your customers are, and so grateful for everyone who buys from you and comes from an event, not in a soppy way, not in a, oh my God, I'm not good enough way, but in a way of, I'm going to attract more of them. This is a massive lesson to me. Ooh, I really enjoyed working with that person. I loved seeing how happy they got when they bought my candle. I love seeing how happy they got when they came to class. I would like to attract more people like that. And more people like that is why they came to you in the first place, what they're looking for, the transformation that they achieved, and you talking about that. Okay, so after you've done your ideal client exercise, we're going to come on to your message. Okay, now we've spoken about this lots in the last training. And by now we know that you've got two messages, your brand awareness message and your sales message. And you've probably got one question on your mind right now, is when to combine both brand awareness and sales messages. Okay? And we touched on this briefly already because sometimes you will combine them. Sometimes we'll combine them, but it really boils down to who you are and what you're selling. Okay? So I'm going to take this example of a gentleman selling food at a festival. Okay, so let's say you were at a local festival and you were selling food. You are not going to create a brand awareness message. You do not need people to know all about your brand and not to purchase, right? You need to say, we're here, we're selling water, coffee, sparkling water, orange juice, like we're selling all of your refreshments and we're selling this amazing food, buy now, right? So you're going to combine that message. And your sandwich boards, the front of your van, the festival brochure, everything's going to say you're here and this is what you're selling on the day, right? It's for consumption on the day. You need to buy it on the day. So if you were selling a reasonably priced class that was starting next week, if you were selling a candle making workshop, if you were selling something that the decision is easy for the customers to make, you can merge your brand awareness and your sales messages because you know that they can purchase both at once. Okay, and it's good business to do that. It makes common sense to do that. But let's say you were selling a retreat and that retreat cost £1,000 and you wanted people to come to a retreat for £1,000, you're probably not going to go, hey, I'm a life coach and I am creating a retreat, come for £1,000. Because nice and all as that sounds, they don't know enough about you. They don't know enough about the retreat. They haven't built a relationship with you to think, oh, £1,000 is peanuts with this woman. I absolutely love her. I'm going to spend it. Um, you need to take more time to first build your brand awareness and then to build a relationship and to sell your retreat a little bit further along the journey. And that's why lots of people tend to sell retreats to people that have already worked with them in the past. So they might do life coaching, they might do a membership, and then after they've been running that for a wee while and they have a bank of clients that know, like, and trust them, they then might use the retreats. Okay, so you have to be very discerning and you have to say, okay, Orla, do you know what? My price point is okay. I can merge my brand awareness and my sales message. Or you might be like, actually, there's a bit of a jump for clients to make from just finding out about me to invest in this amount of money. I am going to focus on brand awareness, nurturing them, and then selling this high ticket item. And you see lots of people do that where they will have something like let's give an example of like football training. Like lots of people have football camps that run all summer and it's quite a lot of money. So you may book them into the football camp all summer because you want the childcare, but what you also might do is book them in for the October break for 2 days so that you see if they're good, if you see if they're nice. And then once you've done a few of those, you're like, actually, I want to book my son in all summer. Does that make sense? So you can merge the two, but it depends on what you're selling, the price point, and how much of a no-brainer it is, how much thinking is involved by the customer before they purchase from you. So, your brand awareness message is promoting your business as a whole. So, I want you to practice this sentence over and over again, whether it's for your service or for a product. I help whoever your ideal client is with whatever the problem it is that they're facing by providing a solution so they can achieve. So you could say, I help women in their 40s and 50s who are balancing perimenopause and dating by providing an effective weight loss and fitness solution so you can feel amazing, manage your hormones, but also have fun on the dating scene. It's different, but that's what we're looking at. Um, for a product or service, you might turn around and say, okay, this matcha latte helps you feel amazing, buy, and talk about the ingredients and the benefits of the latte. Now, play around with the sentence. You don't want it to sound like really formatted. You don't want it to feel like staged. I would say write out this sentence and then imagine you're saying it to your favorite customer again. That favorite customer, if you don't have customers just yet, you're saying it to your best friend. You're describing to your best friend who you are and how your business works, and you're going to go from there. So you can press pause here, you can take a screenshot, but this is a rough format for your brand awareness sentence. And then when we move on to a sales message, now for most of us, a sales message will be a post or an email, or a series of posts and a series of emails, right? But a rough thing about it is we would pick something individually that we're selling. So we would have a hook, we would grab their attention. So for lots of people, that could be the title of the email, it could be the first slide in a carousel post, it could be the first sentence in a live video. We have to have an offer, so it has to have a name, our coaching program, our summer camp, our product. Then we talk about why it matters, the benefits, the successes, how it transforms that person's life, the change that it makes in the customer's life. We talk about the logistics, any practical info, any urgency or scarcity. So why they need to buy now, like how many spots are available, when's the closing date, when's the early bird ended by, and a call to action. Now, for this, I'm going to take a real life example. This was a real life example shared with consent of one of my clients last year who was selling a coach's service. So she started with her hook that she's excited to reintroduce my business. I'm a mum, live in Midlothian, and I'm here to help you lose weight, get fit, and feel amazing. So her hook, now I think we could have done looking back retrospectively, we could have done a stronger hook there, but the hook talks about who she is. It builds that rapport. She's local, she's a mum, and she can help you lose weight, get fit, and feel amazing. And then she talks about a personal trainer, why it matters, and a certified coach. Now, again, the use of language here. Women over the age of 35 come to her. And I feel like that change in language is really important because it already solidifies that she's in demand and people want what she offers. And they come to her to lose weight and keep it off. And then she talks about how she does things. And these does things combine as the successes and the transformation. She works with your hormones. She creates a sustainable weight loss plan, and she helps it be easy, right? And that doesn't mean like she removes any effort on your part, but simple to create. Nobody wants a sigh when they see what's for dinner. She talks about working with you on a one-to-one basis. You get a personalized training plan, a nutrition plan, and an in-depth hormonal assessment. Again, relating back to working with your hormones, ongoing accountability. And then we didn't mention the scarcity here because it was an initial post. But if you're looking to drop weight, feel amazing, and be guided by a compassionate expert, I have space opening in August, right? Now, this post alone, shared in Facebook groups throughout the area, generated 78 inquiries. Now, that doesn't mean 78 customers, because when you're working with someone and you're at this level, you do need to audition and make sure they're right for you. So once they DM'd, they got sent a Calendly booking link. So some drop off before they book, but they get a Calendly booking link to Discover Recovery call to book. So why did this post work? It made it easy for people to buy. You're not justifying what's on offer. You're not saying, oh, please choose me. I'm a local business. I'm working from my kitchen. You need to choose me. People hate that. People want to shop local, but those local who have the confidence to say, actually, by working here, this is what makes me amazing. It's the right time and place, right? We did these posts at the end of July. Okay, so what we know from parents working at the end of July is lots of them are off in July. We spoke about this when we did our year review. Lots of them are off in July. Um, and they want to get back into routine come August, September, right? September, October especially, but August, we know for lots of people in Scotland, the kids go back the middle of the month, so the end is in sight and you can see what's happening. It's the right time and place, shared at a time when mums are looking to get fit and healthy, and shared the successes. So we were careful of the language. So we told them why others like them work with this lady. We didn't say, "Oh, I think you should work with me." We're saying, "No, I'm already working with these women. You were going to be one of many. You were going to be part of a bigger success story." And it gets that social proof that you're not alone. Okay. So, a little exercise for you. I want you to click pause and I want you to think, what does success look like for your customer after they've bought from you? Now, list 3 to 5 successes. These will either go into your overall sales post or we will break them down into individual posts. So, they might feel smug because they've bought the perfect gift. They might have a beautiful piece of jewelry to open on Christmas Day just for themselves. They might feel and look amazing at their Christmas party because they started in August on your weight loss program. They might have stress free during the busiest time of year because they're coming to your sound bath. They might have grabbed a bargain because they got the early bird offer. They might have had a laugh with their friends at that night out. The successes do not need to be profound. Stop trying to make them so amazing that you lose any form of relatability. When my son was a little boy, or baby rather, and we did baby classes. 2 things I loved about the baby class. One was getting up and getting out in the morning. I needed that routine. I was up late, he wasn't sleeping. I needed that routine. On a Monday morning, I felt like it started my week on a high and I could then plan out a Monday morning, was number one. Number two was that I had a child that didn't sleep. He did not sleep. So the fact that he slept after every class was phenomenal. And I could go and get a Wagamama's. But if they started to try and sell, oh, you are providing for your child's long term mental health. Yes, that is important. And I'm not discounting that. I needed that Starbucks. I needed that Wagamama's. I needed my own mental health taken care of. So when people would say, oh, they sleep well after class, it's not profound, but it fucking meant the world to me as a parent. So even the smallest successes can be absolutely huge to your potential client. So once you've done that, I want you to do 2 types of sales post. One is I want you to do your overall sales post or email or reel or carousel like the one that we just did. And it takes all of the successes and combines these into one post. So see the previous slide. I want you to look at the individual successes and make a post each out of those. So if your individual success, we'll take the example that we shared earlier, is that we make it easy, that we work with your hormones, that we create lasting weight loss. Each of those deserve a post by themselves. And again, what that basically means is your customers need repetition. They need to hear the same message 8 times to know what to do. So you need to share it approximately 200 times and in different ways. And that is exactly what you are doing when you look at this. Okay? Hope that makes sense. Now, we're nearly there, my friends. I appreciate this is a lot, and I'm so grateful for you sticking with me. But what we're now looking forward to is your mediums. And when we're looking at your mediums, it's so important that we choose your mediums where you will reach your clients, right? So I want you to make a list of online and offline places they will see your business. Facebook groups, Instagram, local events and markets. Are you going to put posters up, community newsletters? Are you going to have business cards for networking and meetups? Only you know what's right for your business. So I just want you to ignore everything else and just jot down what is right for you and your business. And I don't want to overlook email marketing. If you already have a client base and you've worked with clients in the past, I really want you to consider the importance of email marketing. Most of your sales will come from email marketing because they're customers who know, like, and trust you. There's no point in you attracting new clients in on a consistent basis if you're not building that up. So please, 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 if you have a database of previous clients, let's build your email marketing. And if you're starting out, let's get your head around why email marketing is essential for you and your business. Now, I do not want you to say, but Orla, I get emails and I don't listen to them. No, do not be a negative Nancy around me, number one. But number two, that doesn't matter. You're not writing an email thinking every person who receives it will love it. Some people won't open it, some people will unsubscribe, but it is the select few that open your emails and buy from you again and again and again, which will maintain your business throughout its lifetime. Facebook groups. Facebook groups are often overlooked, and I talk about them a lot, especially for local businesses. I don't know if they'll be as impactful in 10, 15 years' time, but what I do know right now is they offer you instant access to local customers. So do not look down your nose on Facebook groups. Do not think they're too cliquey. We can ignore all of that. Do not see these Facebook groups as a community that you need to fit into. See them as a tool and a resource that you're going to add value to. You're going to talk about your business and you're going to test and measure like everything else. So make a list of all the Facebook groups you could use, look at the group rules, the group tone, and create posts and share those consistently. Non-negotiable. Your Facebook groups are your friend for now, but we will look at more things long term like your own social media and your email marketing. So I have made a list of some of the ways you might be able to reach your ideal client. I want you to add to this. I want you to take away. You can pause this. You can take a screenshot. But really, what I want you to consider is the Facebook groups, the collaborations and brand champions. Who do I know that has access to my ideal client that I can collaborate with them? You know, if you're a football coach, do you know, if you're a nutritional therapist that works with sports stars, look at football coaches, look at football classes. You know, if you are selling candles, look at the people who organize markets and have got access to all of the markets. You know, all of the events, markets, gift guides. Social media, definitely building your own social media, but through collaborations, can you tap into other people? Your website's a non-negotiable that it converts and that you treat your website like a salesperson, but we already discussed this. Your marketing collateral, flyers in local cafes with QR codes, like pop-up banners if you're running events that go outside, A boards if you are at marketing events and fairs. Online marketplaces, Eventbrite is great for events, Etsy, eBay, etc. Now, you can fill that in yourself, okay? But I wanted to make it really easy for you when it comes to building your marketing plan. It's create your message, brand awareness, sales, both. Okay? Two, adjust your message and graphics for your preferred medium. Okay? So if it's an email, it might be a longer post because you're going to add more information. If it's an Instagram post, it might be shorter. If it's a group post, you're going to adjust it to the tone of the Facebook group. Um, so that we can do that. And you might throw in some occasions. So you might be saying, oh, hey, it's festival month in Edinburgh. Have you considered X, Y, and Z? You know, so you can really make it personal. I want you to share it on the mediums with a call to action. You wouldn't go into a shop and if there was no checkout, you'd know there was something up. But lots of us write posts without a checkout. You have to have a call to action, and then you rinse and repeat. Okay, you rinse and repeat every week. You rinse and repeat every quarter, and what you do is you share the same message in different ways. Okay, you look at it through a different lens. If you share it on a reel, you can share it on a carousel, you can share it on an Instagram post. If you're not sure what to do, or you're like, Orla, this is overwhelming, we'll build your motivation bank. We'll find local businesses doing marketing really well. You'll follow them on social media and you'll save their best posts. You'll notice what works and what doesn't, and you'll get inspired and learn from their successes. Now, that doesn't mean you're going to copy anyone. You're not going to choose businesses just from your industry. You're going to choose them from different industries, but you're really, really, really going to have fun with this. Now let's look at taking action because we've been through a lot, right? And fundamentally, it's, you know, what's your message, who's your customer, and what's your medium? That's essentially what we're talking about again and again and again and again and again. But when it comes to taking action, that's a little bit more impacted by what's going on in your world. You know, so you've got the tools, you know your customer, the questions they're asking, you know how to clearly describe your brand as a whole, and we've got a framework for looking at individual products or services and where you're going to share your message. Now it's the time to take consistent, confident action. Marketing is not optional, it's a non negotiable. If you want sales, growth, and visibility, you have to show up, even when you're busy and you're tired. This is why we schedule posts when you're on a high and you've had loads of caffeine. Okay? Um, you want to talk about your post even when you're getting no interactions, right? Because you're never going to create a perfect post. You build up to the perfect post. You never create it, and then you look at it through a different lens a week later, and it was no longer perfect. You've got to keep sharing. This is a process. This is like raising your kids every day. It's never going to be perfect, but it is your life. You know. So, when we look at the emotional cycle of change, you literally go through different stages. It's an emotional ride. So, you're going to start off with uninformed optimism. Oh, yeah, I just have to have a message, a customer, and a medium, and I have a marketing plan. Whoopee, let's do it. And then you're like, fuck me, I'm boring myself. I hate writing these posts. I'm not enjoying it. And then you come to the valley of despair, which is stage 3, and you give up. And most people give up, right? Most people just give up, and then they blank their social media. They don't promote their business for a couple of weeks. Their sales get impacted, and they go into stress mode, and they go, buy for me, buy for me, buy for me. The emotional cycle of change is normal, right? I want you to remember that you will fall off track in your marketing, and that's okay. Your job is to get back on track, right? You will fall on track, because what we're looking for is to move through the emotional cycle of change through stage 4, which is informed optimism. I knew that was hard, but I did it. And then success and fulfillment, where you've done it. And now marketing your business is something that you consistently do. It's part of your processes. You never, you fall off track, but you get back on quicker, right? And we want to do this by having back on track in 20 minutes. Refocus and reignite. Okay. And again, you can make this your own. Don't just do it because it's what I'm saying. You can amend it yourself, you can change it yourself, but I want you to go for a walk. Have a bank of motivating podcasts that you can listen to, like motivating music. Grab a coffee, and then pick one activity that you can do now. Go through your old reviews, your old testimonials, go through your best performing posts, pick what's working really, really well, and plan your next 3 marketing activities. That 4-step process. When you are getting back off track, just do this. Maybe you want to add in other things, like have a friend that you can call. Maybe you want to record yourself a voice note when things are going well and go back to that. Whatever it is, you do that. Okay, so I want to ask you a question about, you have an idea of what's going to happen quarterly in your business. Do you need a monthly marketing plan? Okay, do you need a monthly marketing plan? And I would say for lots of us, we do. But I would say don't labor over it if it doesn't feel right for you. But what you want to do is you want to consider week by week, what are the activities in your business that make sense? And I'm going to give you an example of a baby class provider. So in week 1, you have your clear goals. What are your sales goals for that month? And you promote your business as a whole. Hey, welcome to September. This month, we're going to look at X, Y, and Z. Here are the classes that are coming on. Here are the locations, and I'd love for you to drop in. Week 2, you might send out your email newsletter. Classes are underway for September. They're absolutely amazing. Here's some of the feedback that we're getting, and you might do some Facebook group posts. Week 3, you might go to some networking. You might do some collaborations. And week 4, because it makes sense for all of us in week 4 that we're laser focused on sales because it's payday weekend. Okay, for many people from like the 20th to the end of the month. So last chance to book for this month, book now for the month ahead, your payday treat, buy now. All of these things are absolutely essential. Okay, so I've got one there that you can do. And I wanted to give you an example of how you can create a monthly plan for you. Is you plan your content in advance. So you already have your quarters planned out. And okay, January, this is my focus. What's the content in January? How do I talk about my business? How do I talk about why my business is relevant to people starting new? How do I talk about this new masterclass that I'm running? And I want you to schedule in time each week to create your content for the week ahead. This is a non negotiable. This is not something that's a nice to have. This is a must have for your business. Okay? Now, this works really well for organized people. If you're more like me, you might want to track your cycle and when you're more motivated and go from there. Some of us prefer to do things daily, and that's totally okay. And I would recommend that you spend the first 30 minutes of each working day on marketing your business. Be your own business development manager each day. Pick a Facebook group that you can promote in each day. Make sure you schedule a post for that day. Choose one thing a day and do it well. Maybe Mondays are for LinkedIn, Tuesdays are for Instagram, Wednesdays are for Facebook groups. Reshare the content, repurpose it on all the different platforms. And this works well for people who can talk fast and need less planning time. Okay? Now let's look at making marketing stick. Okay, promoting your business is an essential part of your role as the business owner. You cannot avoid it. Okay, you cannot focus on your accounts, you cannot focus on customer service, you cannot focus on systems and delivery until you're effectively marketing your business, because you will have no customers to allow you to do all those other things. So there's an invitation to stop being so half-hearted or half-arsed. Okay? Most small business owners promote their business sporadically. They're waiting for the perfect post. They're second guessing every word. They're taking hours to post once a week. That's not a plan, my friend. That is panic. Okay? That is panic. As we've seen throughout this training, marketing doesn't have to be a big deal. Think of marketing like brushing your teeth. Do it regularly. Don't overthink it. Keep it fresh and consistent, right? You can bring in other ideas as you're going along, but what people do is, oh my God, I don't know how to do reels. And it's like, well, try doing a Facebook post first and then do your first reel and then do your second reel and then you do your third reel. And then we look at seeking evidence. Your job isn't to get it right, it's to test and learn. So you're going to promote consistently, see what sticks. Certain things will work better at certain times of the year and adjust with data and not drama. So what you might find is the same posts that work really well during August might not work as well during April. So you have to adjust your posts. But you'll test, measure, refine, and repeat. And even when things are working, no good plan lasts forever, even the good ones. Social media is always evolving. So is marketing as a whole. So are our local communities, so are our local high streets. Don't get attached to the method, get committed to the mission. And the mission is to let people know who you are, what you do, and how they can buy from you. Okay, algorithms change, email remains. Keep with your emails and practice video. Video is here to stay, so keep practicing your video. And if you become overwhelmed, if you're not sure what to do and you're not sure what to say, always come back to who is my customer? Okay? Who is my customer right now? Why? How can I make what I'm selling relevant to them? What's going on in their lives right now? What are they planning for the future? What are they buying last minute now? Create my message, about your business or about one offer and share it on all of the various different mediums as well. Okay. And if you're looking for more support and you're thinking, okay, Orla, can you please help me? I would be absolutely delighted to help you. I'm going to leave this up for a moment to see what my customers say. So basically, how I work with people is to help you take the guesswork out of growing your business. And I do that through first auditing your business, looking at what's working, what's not working, the foundations that you've already built, how we can strengthen the core foundations of growing your business and setting tangible and achievable goals for the future. So we set those goals. Together we create the plan, and I am your cheerleader. I give you accountability and I help you achieve your goals. And if you would like to work with me, you can book a free discovery call at orlab.com/contact. It is a 30-minute discovery call where we chat about you, your business, and how I can help you achieve your goals. But before we go ahead, I now think you have everything to create your marketing plan. So you have who you are, a little bit about your business. You have who your customer is, what they want from you, what questions they have. You can talk about your business from a brand awareness perspective, the business as a whole, or an individual product or service, and you will adjust that same message for all of the different mediums. Thank you so much for taking part in this training, and if there's anything else I can help with, let me know.